Bem-vindo ao Deep Dumps. No Deep Dumps, nossa missão é ajudá-lo a passar nos exames de certificação com confiança. Acesse os exames de prática mais recentes, PDFs e testes online, sempre atualizados conforme os padrões reais. Com nosso material pronto para o exame, você terá os recursos certos sempre à mão. Milhares de alunos confiam no Deep Dumps, e muitos conquistam a aprovação já na primeira tentativa. Oferecemos suporte 24 de julho por e-mail ou chat ao vivo. E nossos especialistas estão prontos para esclarecer dúvidas e orientá-lo passo a passo. Baixe as perguntas e respostas em PDF. Pratique com questões de qualidade e explicações claras. E avance rumo ao sucesso garantido.
Question 1. Consider the illustration. What are the items labeled A, B and C? Option A solution landscape. B. Architecture requirements repository. C. Architecture landscape. Option B. A. Architecture landscape. B. Architecture requirements repository. C. Solutions landscape. Option C. AEA landscape. B. Requirements repository. C. Artifacts landscape. Option D. A. Architecture requirements repository. B. Solutions repository. C. Architecture landscape. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A solution landscape. B. Architecture requirements repository. C. Architecture landscape. Question 2. Which phase of the Admiral has the purpose to develop an enterprise architecture capability? Option A. Phase A. Option B. Phase G. Option C. Phase B. Option D. Preliminary phase. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Preliminary phase. Question 3. Which statement about requirements management is most correct? Option A. Requirements management and stakeholder engagement are placed at the center of architecture development. Option B. Requirements management is a step of all ADM phases. Option C. The purpose of requirements management is to process change requests. Option D. Stakeholder requirements are captured once in phase A and managed throughout the ADM cycle. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Requirements management and stakeholder engagement are placed at the center of architecture development. Question 4. Consider the following ADM phases objectives. Which phase does each objective match? Option A. 1F2G3G4H. Option B. 1G2H3H4F. Option C. 1F2G3H4H. Option D. 1H2F3F4G. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. 1F2G3H4H. Question 5. Which of the following is the responsibility of an architecture board? Option A. Establishing targets for reuse of components. Option B. Creating the statement of architecture work. Option C. Allocating resources for architecture projects. Option D. Conducting assessments of the maturity level of architecture discipline within the organization. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Establishing targets for reuse of components. Question 6. What is used to structure architectural information in an orderly way so that it can be processed to meet stakeholder needs? Option A. A stakeholder map. Option B. An architecture framework. Option C. An EA library. Option D. A content meta model. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, a content meta model. Question 7. Complete the sentence. The TOGAF standard covers the development of 4 architecture domains: business, data, technology and option A, segment, option B, capability, option C, transition, option D, application. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, application. Question 8. Complete the sentence. The enterprise continuum provides methods for classifying architecture artifacts as they evolve from option A, generic architectures to reusable solution building blocks, option B, generic architectures to organization-specific architectures, option C, foundation architectures to reusable architecture assets, option D, solutions architectures to solution building blocks. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, generic architectures to organization-specific architectures. Question 9. What is defined as the effect of uncertainty on objectives? Option A, risk. Option B, vulnerability. Option C, threat. Option D, continuity. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, risk. Question 10. What is an objective of the Admiral preliminary phase? Option A, to obtain approval for the statement of architecture work. Option B, to create the initial version of the architecture roadmap. Option C, to develop a vision of the business value to be delivered by the proposed enterprise architecture. Option D, to select and implement tools to support the architecture capability. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, to select and implement tools to support the architecture capability. Question 11. The ensures that a project transitioning into implementation also smoothly transitions into appropriate architecture. Governance. Option A, implementation strategy. Option B, transition plan. Option C, migration plan. Option D, implementation governance model. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, implementation governance model. Question 12. What are the 4 dimensions used to scope an architecture? Option A, strategy, segment, capability, budget. Option B, strategy, portfolio, project, solution delivery. Option C, breadth, depth, time period, architecture domains. Option D, business, data, application, technology. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, breadth, depth, time period, architecture domains. Question 13. Which section of the TOGAF template for architecture principles should highlight the business benefits of adhering to the principle? Option A, implications. Option B, rationale. Option C, statement. Option D, name. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, rationale. Question 14. Which statement best describes iteration and the ADM? Option A, the ADM is sequential. Iteration is applied within phases. Option B, the ADM is iterative. Over the whole process, between phases, and within phases. Option C, the ADM is iterative between phases B to D, and between phases E and F. Option D, the level of detail is defined once and applies to all iterations. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. The ADM is iterative. Over the whole process, between phases, and within phases. Question 15. Complete the sentence. The four purposes that typically frame the planning horizon. Depth and breadth of an architecture project. And the contents of the EA repository are strategy, portfolio, option A, project, and solution delivery, option B, discrete, and cohesive, option C, subordinate, and superior architecture, option D, segment, and end-to-end target architecture. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, project and solution delivery. Question 16. Consider the following descriptions of deliverables consumed and produced across the TOGAF ADM cycle. Which deliverables match these descriptions? Option A. 1. Architecture principles. 2. Architecture requirements specification. 3. Request for architecture work. 4. Statement of architecture work. Option B. 1. Request for architecture work. 2. Statement of architecture work. 3. Architecture principles. 4. Architecture requirements specification. Option C. 1. Statement of architecture work. 2. Architecture principles. 3. Architecture requirements specification. 4. Request for architecture work. Option D. 1. Architecture requirements specification. 2. Request for architecture work. 3. Statement of architecture work. 4. Architecture principles. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. 1. Architecture principles. 2. Architecture requirements specification. 3. Request for architecture work. 4. Statement of architecture work. Question 17. Consider the following ADM phases objectives. Which phase does each objective match? Option A. 1C 2D 3B 4A. Option B. 1A 2B 3C 4D. Option C. 1C 2B 3A 4D. Option D. 1B 2D 3A 4C. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. 1C 2B 3A 4D. Question 18. Which of the following best summarizes the purpose of enterprise architecture? Option A. Taking major improvement decisions. Option B. Controlling the bigger changes. Option C. Guiding effective change. Option D. Governing the stakeholders. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Guiding effective change. Question 19. Consider the diagram showing a classification model for architecture landscapes. What are the items labeled A, B and C? Option A. Corporate capability. B. Portfolio capability. C. Project capability. Option B. A. Architecture vision. B. Business architecture. C. Architecture development. Option C. A. Strategy architecture. B. Tactic architecture. C. Operational architecture. Option D. A. Capability architecture. B. Segment architecture. C. Enterprise strategic architecture. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. A. Capability architecture. B. Segment architecture. C. Enterprise strategic architecture. Question 20. Consider the following ADM phases objectives. Option A. 1 F2 F3 E4 G. Option B. 1 G2 E3 F4 E. Option C. 1 F2 G3 F4 F. Option D. 1 E2 F3 E4 G. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. 1 F2 F3 E4 G. Question 21. Refer to the table below. Which ADM phase does this describe? Option A. Phase C. Option B. Preliminary phase. Option C. Phase A. Option D. Phase B. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, phase A. Question 22. Consider the following statement. Projects may cycle between ADM phases. In planned cycles covering multiple phases. What does it illustrate? Option A. Iteration. Option B. Enterprise architecture. Option C. Implementation governance. Option D. Requirements management. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, iteration. Question 23. Consider the graphic illustrating a method supporting the TOGAF ADM. What does the method help identify? Option A. Architecture solutions. Option B. Business scenarios. Option C. Solution building blocks. Option D. Alternative target architectures. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, alternative target architectures. Question 24. Complete the sentence. When considering agile development, architecture to support project will identify what products the enterprise needs, the boundary of the products, and what constraints a product owner has. This defines the enterprise's option A. Operations. Option B. Lifecycle economics. Option C. Backlog. Option D. Workflow management. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, backlog. Question 25. Which of the following does the TOGAF standard describe as a package of functionality defined to meet business needs across an organization? Option A. An application. Option B. A solution architecture. Option C. A building block. Option D. A deliverable. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, a building block. Question 26. Which of the following supports the need to govern enterprise architecture? Option A. The TOGAF standard cannot be used without executive governance. Option B. The architecture project mandates the governance of the target architecture. Option C. The stakeholders' preferences may go beyond the architecture project scope and needs control. Option D. Best practice governance enables the organization to control value realization. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Best practice governance enables the organization to control value realization. Question 27. Complete the following sentence. Provide context for architecture work by describing the needs and ways of working employed by the enterprise. Option A. Business principles, business goals, and business drivers. Option B. Stakeholder needs. Option C. Architecture contracts. Option D. Strategy and vision. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, business principles, business goals, and business drivers. Question 28. Which of the following best describes the purpose of the gap analysis technique? Option A. To allocate resources for architecture projects. Option B. To govern the architecture throughout its implementation process. Option C. To identify items omitted from the target architecture. Option D. To develop a set of general rules and guidelines for the architecture. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, to identify items omitted from the target architecture. Question 29. Complete the following sentence. In the ADM, Documents which are under development and have not undergone any formal review and approval process are called. Documents which have been reviewed and approved are called. Option A. Concept, deliverable. Option B. Draft, approved. Option C. Version 0, 1, version 1, 0 inches. Option D. Draft, finalized. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, draft, approved. Question 30. Consider the following statements. 1. A whole corporation or a division of a corporation. 2. A government agency or a single government department. 3. Partnerships and alliances of businesses working together, such as a consortium or supply chain. What are those examples of according to the TOGAF standard? Option A. Organizations. Option B. Enterprises. Option C. Architecture scopes. Option D. Business units. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, enterprises. Question 31. Which of the following best describes the TOGAF architecture development method? Option A. A process for managing architecture requirements. Option B. A process for creating an architecture repository. Option C. A process for managing and controlling change at an enterprise-wide level. Option D. A method for developing and managing the life cycle of an enterprise architecture. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. A method for developing and managing the life cycle of an enterprise architecture. Question 32. Complete the sentence. Actions arising from the business transformation readiness assessment technique should be incorporated in A. Option A. Architecture roadmap. Option B. Implementation and migration plan. Option C. Implementation governance model. Option D. Architecture requirement specification. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, implementation and migration plan. Question 33. Consider the following statement. According to the TOGAF standard, a governed approach of a particular deliverable will ensure adherence to the principles, standards, and requirements of the existing or developing architectures. Which deliverable does this refer to? Option A. The statement of architecture work. Option B. The architecture definition document. Option C. An architecture contract. Option D. The architecture vision. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, an architecture contract. Question 34. Which of the following describes the purpose of architecture principles? Option A. To describe likely impacts resulting from successful deployment of the target architecture. Option B. To establish a common understanding of how to control the business in pursuit of strategic objectives. Option C. To provide a better understanding about the enterprise's culture and values. Option D. To form a contract between sponsoring organization and the enterprise architects. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. To provide a better understanding about the enterprise's culture and values. Question 35. What are the following activities part of? Initial risk assessment, risk mitigation and residual risk assessment, risk monitoring. Option A. Risk management. Option B. Phase C. Option C. Phase A. Option D. Security architecture. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, risk management. Question 36. Which of the following statements about architecture partitioning is correct? Option A. Partitions reflect the organization's structure. Option B. Partitions are used to simplify the management of the enterprise architecture. Option C. Partitions are defined and assigned to agile enterprise architecture teams. Option D. Partitions are equivalent to architecture levels. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Partitions are used to simplify the management of the enterprise architecture. Question 37. Consider the following statements. 1. All processes, decision-making, and mechanisms used will be established so as to minimize or avoid potential conflicts of interest. 2. More effective strategic decision-making will be made by C-level executives and business leaders. 3. All actions implemented and their decision support will be available for inspection by authorized organization and provider parties. 4. Digital transformation and operations will be more effective and efficient. Which statements highlight the value and necessity for architecture governance to be adopted within organizations? Option A. 1 and 3. Option B. 2 and 3. Option C. 2 and 4. Option D. 1 and 4. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. 1 and 3. Question 38. Which of the following does the TOGAF standard define as the representation of a related set of concerns? Option A. Matrix. Option B. Diagram. Option C. Architecture view. Option D. Catalog. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Architecture view. Question 39. Which of the following best describes purpose of the business scenarios? Option A. To identify and understand requirements. Option B. To guide decision making throughout the enterprise. Option C. To catch errors in a project architecture early. Option D. To identify risk when implementing an architecture project. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. To identify and understand requirements. Question 40. What should be put in place through organization structures, roles, responsibilities, skills and processes to carry out architectural activity effectively? Option A. An EA framework. Option B. An enterprise architecture. Option C. An EA capability. Option D. An EA repository. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. An EA capability.